Berlin-based media company has hit out at Facebook, accusing the platform of unprecedented censorship. That's after they suspended a number of Mafic Media's pages, which produces online shows, and which CNN is accusing of a deliberate attempt to hide ties to Russia. One of those shows is In the Now, viewed over 2.5 billion times on the social networking platform. A producer and presenter at Mafic filmed this message for Facebook.
What I would say to you is I understand that you're under immense pressure from various forces to suppress this or that content based on political reasoning, but do not succumb to censorship. Do not succumb to complying with various government-funded outfits, regardless of what government they're funded by, to censor. Let your users decide what's good and what's bad.
Earlier, my colleagues Yunan O'Neill and Ilya Petrenko discussed why Mafic Media has been put under the microscope.
It began with CNN shedding light on the fact that a number of Mafic Media pages with posts of snappy videos had links to Russia.
But what people watching these videos may not realize is that the Russian government is paying for this. Soapbox, Wasted, Back Then are 3 new Facebook pages, and all part of a growing brand of Russian-backed influence campaigns.
Mafic runs 4 pages. They are indeed very popular with billions of views, as their creators are saying, but it wasn't indicated on the pages themselves where their money came from. And so just as the CNN came out with their bombshell report, as they're calling it, the Mafic team noticed that their pages were being blocked, even though there is no such rule that makes revealing the funding a must. I've spoken to the Mafic CEO, and she told me what she believes could be behind this kind of unprecedented punishment by the social network.
There's a very sensitive, divisive, obnoxious policy taking place right now in terms of Venezuela. We don't know if this is the segment that triggered it. The timing is convenient. When someone calls out what's happening in Venezuela as a blatant coup, it ruffles the wrong feathers. It ruffles the feathers of think tanks that spend millions and millions, if not billions of dollars to persuade and to lobby their interests. And so when someone does a video that goes against that, and that video gets hundreds of thousands of views on a platform that has millions of views, people start to notice and they get upset. And I believe that's why we were targeted.
But Leah, I suppose the question is here, has Mafic at any point attempted to hide information about its links, about its shareholders even?
Well, let's just make it clear. Mafic does get some of its funding from the Russian government, and it is partially owned by an RT subsidiary. But they were never trying to hide this. In fact, when they employ someone, they always tell them everything about the parent company so that people know who they work for. And the company is officially registered in Germany. So anyone can check out the company registry there and find out all the necessary information, who the owners, the founders are, the funding, where it comes from, etc. Well, going back to what Facebook did to Mafic, you'd expect the social network to come up with some sort of warning before taking the pages down. Well, none of this happened. And here's what else we heard from someone else from Mafic's management.
But they haven't even gone as far as having any kind of policy articulated about it at all. So we were fully compliant with all Facebook policies at all times. And there is no requirement whatsoever to display any type of funder information on Facebook pages, and it is common practice to not do so.
CNN weren't the first ones to start digging into Mafic's links to Russia. Germany's Marshall Fund got involved first, which drew the attention of the likes of Glenn Greenwald. The journalist was disturbed by what he called a trio that could have been behind this kind of censorship. So not bloggers and journalists were impressed by how Facebook was dealing with the situation and by how CNN was spinning it.
Pages pushing the videos do not disclose they are backed by the Russian government. Okay. All right. I didn't know you had to put who funded you when you put up a video. I didn't know that because we have lots of different funders at this show. We have over 3,000 people who fund us through Patreon. We have probably another couple thousand people through PayPal. So we have a lot of people that fund our show. Do I have to name every one of them every time I put up a video?
So quite a few people in the online community and the journalist community have something to say about this. However, when it comes to Facebook, the Mafex team hasn't heard from them yet, even though they sent out numerous appeals.
RT's contacted a number of news freedom organisations. We'll let you know when they get back to us. We've also spoken to a senior researcher from London Metropolitan University's Global Policy Institute. He believes Facebook is clearly guilty of double standards.
Anything that the Russians have must be looked upon suspiciously. But they can't say this explicitly, and so they come up with these phony pretexts, such as, oh, they haven't disclosed that they're funded by Russia. What about Deutsche Welle? What about the BBC? What about Al Jazeera? What about France 1? I mean, all of these are getting funded by governments. But it's the same thing applies when Facebook every few weeks announces what they've closed 700, 1,000 accounts that they say are fake accounts because they are really Russians or Iranians. You know, no one knows these things. No one knows what these accounts are. But it keeps the story going that the Russians or the Iranians, two officially designated enemies, are up to no good.